Hi, it's Kellee Waters from Fit Minds and Bodies. Now, today we're going to talk about some people's dirty little secret. It's a large problem in the community that happens behind closed doors. We're talking about nighttime eating. So what happens is that a lot of people hide food, sneak food, wait until others are in bed, and then they consume large quantities of food. A lot of you may feel ashamed by this issue, but I want you to know that you're not alone. You experience this just as millions of other Australians do. So what we want to do today is get to the bottom of it to help you so you can change it. So firstly, we have several different components that make up nighttime eating. The first one is cortisol. So stress and nighttime eating are intimately linked. So as we know, as the day goes on and you experience more and more stressors, of course your stress levels rise, and that helps to elevate your cortisol levels. And then what happens? Captain Cortisol to the rescue. Of course, Captain Cortisol makes you crave foods and ultimately eat those junk foods. And so he's helping you to replenish that energy that you've spent during the day because of all that stress. And that's part of the reason why you eat the foods that you do at night. Then we have the next component, which is our brain chemistry. And this is really our emotional eating or binge eating food addiction component. And again, cortisol levels are intimately linked with this, because the higher your cortisol levels, the more imbalanced your brain chemistry. And how do you balance your brain chemistry? If you go to food, you use food. And so the more food you will need to balance your brain chemistry day in, day out. And what you do with food is that it helps you to feel calm, relaxed. But then, of course, the flip side of that is guilt and shame and weight gain. The next component that we have for nighttime eating is what you eat during the day. For some people, they actually starve themselves during the day or eat very little. And then what happens at night is that there is a refeeding process. And your body will just refeed until it thinks that it has consumed enough calories. But when we refeed, it's not healthy foods. It is that high calorie food again. So all of these cycles of the cortisol, the brain chemistry and the refeeding is all associated with junk foods. And the other part of what you eat during the day is if you have had a trigger food. Now, some of you may be sensitive to these trigger foods, but if you're a food addict, you won't even know what's happening. You might eat something at lunchtime or in the afternoon, and that actually triggers the binge at night. And the reason for this is because your brain chemistry is elevated or excited, and then it falls again very quickly because of the excitation in that highly addictive food, and then it says, I need more of this, and generally that happens at night. Then we have the habit, the emotional connection, and the disordered thinking patterns. So for some of you, it's going to be habit, because if you're doing it day in, day out, that's going to build up a habit. For some of you, there's an emotional connection or tie to these foods or to doing this routine. And sometimes it goes way back to childhood. How many of you had dessert and liked the idea of having something sweet after dinner? That's fine. When we were kids, we used to have a little bit of ice cream and maybe some fruit. But now, you have half a tub of ice cream and half a packet of Tim Tams. And that's not so good. But then we also have the diet mentality, the irrational reward at the end of the day. I've been really, really good. I deserve something at night to reward myself. Or we have the, I've blown it, I might as well continue to blow it. And so this starts those nighttime cycles. So let's look at how to reverse it. And the important thing is that you need to identify what contributing factors you have that go towards your nighttime eating, because everybody's going to be different. But once you can identify your patterns, then you can use some of these hints and tips on how to reverse it. So tip number 1, you need to manage your stress throughout the day so that Captain Cortisol doesn't come to your rescue at night. So go back to the belly fat video and look at the stress management strategies there and do them throughout the day. So important. I can't stress that enough. You need to change your emotional connection, your habits, your thinking patterns. If you can do this, then it goes a long way to changing emotional or nighttime eating. So looking at different things that you can do. If you're spending special time on the couch with your partner, or it's your downtime, the only time that you have to yourself, don't do it with something unhealthy. Think about it as a healthy reward for yourself. Because the more you nighttime eat, the more you're gaining weight. And it's a really unhealthy habit for you, but also to pass on to your children. Eat regularly throughout the day. The more you eat regularly throughout the day, the less likely you are of having that nighttime eat. It's time to relinquish yourself of any negative diet mentality, such as perfection. So ensure that you're eating 80% healthy and give yourself that 20% leeway, but it's where you give yourself that 20% leeway, and try not do it at night, because that still perpetuates that cycle. And then finally, changing up the foods that you're eating at night if you're still going to have some nighttime foods. So what I suggest is get rid of the milk chocolate. It's going to propel the binge eating. So go for dark chocolate, the dark flavoured Lindt chocolate, and have some dry roasted nuts and seeds with it, because what that does is it fills up the protein levels, connects with the brain and stomach, and you're going to feel fuller, quicker, and more satisfied. What about a ricotta-based dessert? They're really good because, again, it's packed with proteins and it's going to satisfy you. If you like something savoury, instead of eating chips or shapes or something like that, why not try putting pita bread, wholemeal pita bread that is, in the oven with some Cajun spice or something like that, and toast it, and then have that with some of your favourite dips. And that's a really great snack. Or even make your own dips out of ricotta, out of beans, avocado. All of that is going to go a long way to changing your nighttime eating patterns, because it goes away from the addictive foods. It gives your brain a little bit of excitement, your taste buds a little bit of excitement, and you'll find that you stop overeating or binge eating, and even add some veggie sticks for an extra bit of crunch. So what I need you to do is actually work out what is your underlying patterns to your nighttime eating, and then look at some of the tips that I've given you and try and put it all together, and hopefully soon you'll be able to reverse and change your nighttime eating. Good luck.